And right now, the Associated Press has just given the check mark to Raphael Warnock. He's going back to the U.S. Senate as the winner of this runoff against Herschel Walker, right now at 50.4% to Walker's 49.6%. Raphael Warnock has won the runoff in Georgia 4 weeks after we held the midterms in 2022, which in effect, Laura, gives you the balance of power now in the Senate. Democrats at 51, Republicans at 49, majority's 51, and that's where the Democrats have reached. This means essentially that Kamala Harris will not have to break any tie-breaking votes. This means, in effect, that on the committee votes, when you have legislation that's on the margins, Democrats and Joe Biden will have a slight edge after this victory tonight.
Bill Hemmer, I'd like to say this is surprising, but it's not. This is what we expected, and look, the Senate Democrats, I would argue, did a much better job, and they got the early vote out, and Brian Kemp gave his list and did a late-night kind of video call, but, I mean, you got to have the operation in effect, as always. Guys, we appreciate it. Bill, stay with us. All right, we have more. All right, we're not going to more. We got to go to Mollie Hemingway. Sorry, I have a whole script in front of me. Mollie Hemingway and, of course, Kellyanne Conway. Mollie, you and I talked about this about a week ago. We felt this coming. To me, it never felt like the Senate Republicans wanted this guy in office. He was a Trump pick. They didn't like that. They probably like him as a person, Herschel as a person. But there wasn't the intensity on the part of the Republicans as there was on the part of the Democrats. I felt it. You felt it. But we don't change anything. We have the same people in place in leadership, same people in place apparently at the RNC. Perhaps that's not changing. We just keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm pissed tonight, frankly. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's really offensive.
I'm mad.
For Republican voters, for Republican donors who have put so much into having some wins, and they just see kind of failure across the board. There aren't people who are working on early voting or banking ballots. There's no clear messaging. I mean, you look at what happened since the midterm elections, where you had a Senate that basically responded to those disappointing midterm losses by doing nothing other than sabotaging their own base. What is the case for voting Republican for the Senate after these midterms? I don't think one was even attempted to be made. And yeah, nothing seems to be changing. But you didn't see a lot of enthusiasm down there. Of course, the spending was completely
3-1.
It was just.
Look at how close it was, though. I mean, in the end, what did we say? This was winnable, Kellyanne. I know you don't want any change. You want Ronna McDaniel. I like Ronna McDaniel. Isn't this like a warning sign flashing, or are we just going to keep doing the same thing all over again every single election?
Well,
Kevin McCarthy won the House. He won the House.
Yes, he did. And we were outspent 3-1 here.
Why?
There's no excuse in Georgia for us not to have done what Brian Kemp did. Yes, he's the incumbent governor. He's very popular. He's running against Stacey Abrams. But he turned out over his micro-targeting plan, his grassroots people, and I guess Mitch McConnell's group funded it. But they did that in the last couple of days.
He funded it?
Done 4 weeks ago.
Did Mitch McConnell appear down there?
We could have won this seat outright 4 weeks ago. We wouldn't even had to have a runoff. Herschel Walker could have won. I think he was one of the most improved candidates of the cycle. We had some duds of candidates this time. He was out there working hard, but we need to not just compete for votes, for ballots. We need to compete for ballots. If we don't bank ballots early, we're going to keep losing.
But we didn't.
But we didn't.
But we didn't do it in 2020 because everyone said don't vote early because that's corrupt.
Not everyone.
Well,
yes,
a lot of people did at the very top of the Republican Party.
Yes,
you didn't.
People did.
But Mollie, Mitch McConnell did give $11 million to the effort. That's $14 million to the effort in Georgia. But where was the all hands on deck? You got Lindsey Graham. He was there. He did a lot.
Every senator should have been there. Every female senator should have been there.
But why? I'm going to ask the question tonight. Nobody wants to talk about this. Why weren't they down there, Mollie?
I think that if they had needed this seat to have a majority in the Senate, you actually would have seen the establishment in D.C. caring a little bit about it. They obviously didn't care about it once it wouldn't have mattered there. But also there's an issue of people talk about giving money to different races. We're very good at seeing how money can go around to different people. The Republican Party gives money to consultants. They need to care more about winning and less about the means by which races are run. Regardless of who takes over the RNC or regardless if Ronna continues continues. There need to be massive systematic changes to the whole way that races are being handled, the consultants who are running them.
Well, the consultants who get paid
for decades,
and paid
regardless of outcome. Regardless of outcome, they do.
Pollsters,
it's called staff
lobbyists,
infection.
Consultants. These people are the only growth industry left in Washington, D.C., frankly.
Well, I like to say, I've been talking about this for years. They're walking, I put it in my book. They're a walking RICO violation, staff infection. Candidates often lose, consultants always win. And they're nameless, by the way. Most of the consultants who make the most money and have for decades, Laura, the losing Romney race was $1 billion. And they're all still
strategies,
around.
Those are some
they're still
rich
around.
people.
But guess what? Nobody even knows who they are. In other words, the average donor, average Laura Ingraham viewer right now can't name those people the way they can name Mollie and me.
Maybe they should be named.
But by the way, they are nameless, but they are not blameless.
But the Republicans hire them.
Shameless.
These people have been recycled from campaign to campaign to
Sure,
campaign, but there's no accountability.
But they're going to blame Herschel Walker tonight. They're going to blame Donald Trump. And I just want some facts laid out here. I know Mitch McConnell early on said he wanted David Perdue or Kelly Loeffler to run against Raphael Warnock.
Doug Collins would have been a
They said that.
fantastic
They said that, from the beginning.
think.
But Mitch McConnell endorsed Herschel a long time ago. Like, this didn't happen yesterday. Everybody said they were all in, but we didn't see all the senators there. Where were the other 49 Republican senators?
Why? I don't believe it's just because it's 49-51.
Well,
that
I don't believe
vote
that
mattered.
either. Nobody wants Kamala Harris to be breaking
That
ties.
vote
The only
mattered,
thing
Mollie.
she ever does is break ties. It's the only progress she's ever made.
But
That
again,
doesn't even matter. This is
we're-
Georgia. We should be winning Georgia.
We're about to see a cram down of this omnibus bill, perhaps, meaning the Senate leadership would rather work with Schumer than have a chance to work with Kevin McCarthy in the new year. That speaks volumes, Mollie. I know you guys have written about it over at the Federalist.
Well, and talking again about the role that Mitch McConnell plays here. Mitch McConnell loved those candidates 2 years ago. They also lost. And
So did the Colorado
So
nominee.
we have an issue where the Republican Party needs to think about how it's winning elections, and it is not thinking about that at all. And it talks about candidate quality. Mitch McConnell sabotaged Republican candidates and the voters who picked them by saying that the candidates were bad. Well, we have now in the Senate a plan for Republicans to help Chuck Schumer with massive spending package. They're doing nothing to stop it. What about the candidate quality of these current senators who don't care about their base, who don't care about the direction of the country, and are more than happy to work with Democrats than wait?
Always.
Yes,
always. Now, I want to play this moment from last night with Kevin McCarthy on the show. He had a piece of advice for Mitch McConnell. We give enormous credit for, by the way, for all the judicial nominees he's pushed through for all the years. Huge credit for that. But when it comes to this omnibus issue, watch this.
We're 28 days away from Republicans having the gavel. We would be stronger in every negotiation. So any Republican that's out there trying to work with them is wrong.
So that
Why
includes
wouldn't you
Mitch
wait with the
McConnell?
hand
Does
is
that include
stronger?
McConnell?
Yes. Why would you want to work on anything if we have the gavel inside Congress?
You just
we
won
have a
the
stronger.
House.
Yes. Wait till we're in charge.
In the Hill today, all these unnamed sources among the Senate senior leadership and friends of the minority leader, well, we didn't think Kevin McCarthy was going to be able to get anything through. So they never go on the record. They never defend the merits of their position. It's always unnamed sources. They never give real interviews about why this omnibus is the right way to go. Never will hear from them.
The true leakers in Washington. I thought your interview with Leader McCarthy was masterful last night, and I thought his answer was perfect. Basically, they've been waiting for 4 years to get the majority back. You can wait another month, everybody. You waited 4 years, you could wait 4 weeks. And his whole point was, wait for us because we actually are going to be in the majority in the House. And Laura, they have no room for excuses and no reason to not work on the border, energy, economy.
They don't want
President of the United States. Yeah, but Kevin does.
They don't want to. No, Kevin does.
Oh, you mean absolutely. But he invited Joe Biden to the border. That's not a stunt. Joe Biden knows what's going on at the border. He doesn't care. He has been to Delaware 174 days. He's been to the border 0 days, including today. I mean, think about it. It's 174 to nothing. That's a fact, everybody. So, and we know fentanyl is the #1 killer and the rest of it. So I think telling Mitch McConnell, especially after tonight, when you clearly don't even have a 50-50 Senate. I mean, it's like, just wait for us over here in the House.
What does it say for 2024? If this is what the Republican voters see, what does that tell them going into 2024? With we have a lot of great Senate races coming up in our favor. Is this the way to build that new coalition of Hispanics? This?
I can't imagine how demoralizing this is. And it does also get back to these policy issues like, if you provide any resistance to what's happening with Democrat control of the Senate, if you work with the new Republican majority in Congress, you can actually generate excitement and enthusiasm for 2 years from now. When Democrats take over, they come up with like really extreme policy proposals, like packing the Supreme Court, ending the filibuster. It's not even that these things are going to happen, but it's a way of like moving things in their direction. They act bold, no matter how small their majority. Republicans, on the other hand, seem to just accept defeat, even when they have won. They are worried about pushing anything, and then it has electoral consequences.
Well, the good news is we are increasing among these key groups: Hispanics, indisputably, African Americans, Asian Americans, suburban white women came through for Republicans. We won the national vote, but we really ran up the totals in some of these rural districts. Instead of winning with 52, we won with 60.
Got to win the
61.
cities. We got to make
Gotta win the
inroads
cities. And look, but we won in Oregon, Virginia, New Jersey, New York.
There's good news in the House,
seats.
no doubt.
So we have to build on those coalitions. But Laura, I hate to say, we have to invest in the non-sexy parts of politics. The ballot access. You got to bank those early votes. Why are we taking a chance Grandpa can get out of the bathroom that day, let alone the House, to vote? Get his vote a month in advance.
Early voting, baby.
Why are we waiting for that?
Mollie, your reaction to the Matt Taibbi Twitter stream on what was going on with big tech and this election.
So just amazing.
Jim Baker and the Jim Baker angle, obviously, at Twitter.
So James Baker was at the FBI. He was implicated in the Russia collusion hoax. He left as they were investigating some of the leaks that were happening there. He gets hired at Twitter, and we learned today that he was meddling in the dissemination of these explosive communications about how Twitter meddled in the 2020 election by suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story. And it's just amazing because he was supposed to be a general counsel for Twitter, and yet he was actively working against Twitter and apparently on behalf of himself and the FBI. This is the type of thing that could lead to disbarment, and it is, I just want to say, Elon Musk got rid of James Baker, which is more than most Republicans did in the entire Russia collusion hoax.
That's right.
Bingo. Ladies, couldn't think of two better people to have on tonight. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.